Good afternoon. Welcome to Tokyo. Thank you to David and Shimizu-san for your opening remarks and for setting the stage for an exciting and impactful week ahead. And I'd like to add my warm welcome to all of you. It's my great honor today to share a few words of introduction to Prime Minister Kishida. Japan is home to one of the PRI's most well-established signatory communities, with 126 organizations already signed up to the principles, including 28 asset owners. And we're looking forward to seeing this community continue to grow. Our signatories here are some of the most engaged in the world. Over the years, they've played a leading role in the success of the PRI and contributed greatly to our governance. I was delighted to welcome Takeshi Kimura of Nippon Life Insurance Company to our board in 2021. And we previously benefited deeply from board participation by Hiro Mizuno and Masaru Arai. In addition, more than 60% of Japanese signatories responded to our Changing World consultation, the results of which are helping to reshape PRI for the future. This is a future in which the PRI will work even more closely with our signatories to better understand and respond to their evolving needs. And importantly, this is also one in which the PRI must embrace its unique role, both locally and globally, bringing together responsible investors with key stakeholders to help facilitate progress. The importance of uniting behind a global vision and approach cannot be understated. When it comes to tackling existential risks, the world must come together. And in an interconnected world, investors must come together to address common challenges. We heard very clearly from our signatories over the past year that the PRI is best placed to enable this, to drive policy advocacy on a global stage and help shape a supportive regulatory landscape where investors can contribute to a prosperous and sustainable world. But the PRI has a role to play locally as well. We must understand the different contexts in which investors operate across the world. And by developing responsible investment communities of practice, we can bridge this gap, pushing forward global initiatives on a more tangible local level. PRI in person is a great example of PRI's convening power on both a global and local level. Its reach and value extend way beyond these four walls, with more than 50 complementary side events taking place across the week. Local Japanese expertise will come together with wider Asian and global perspectives. I'm pleased to welcome the statement from the Ministry of Environment's high-level panel on ESG finance this morning, which supports the PRI's efforts and our Investing for Sustainable Impact approach, as well as promotes expanded adoption of ESG investment amongst Japan's long-term investors, such as pension funds and life insurance companies. And on that note, I'm honored to be joined here today by His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Japan. Prime Minister Kishida, together with his government, have helped to drive progress in responsible investment here in Japan and indeed around the world. The government's leadership on stewardship and climate in particular provide a model for global investors. It's a privilege and an honor to invite Prime Minister Kishida to the stage. Prime Minister. Welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Looking forward to it. Thank you, please.
Good afternoon. This is the Prime Minister. My name is Kishida Fumio. To our distinguished investors, welcome to Japan. It's a great pleasure to host here in Japan the PRI in person, a forum of leading investors who are driving global responsible investment. Let me express my respect for the efforts of the PRI Secretariat and everyone working to organize this event. From September 25th to October 6th, we call these 2 weeks Japan Weeks. And centering on this conference, PRI in person, a number of global events are being held right here in Japan, day in and day out. And they are excellent opportunities for us to showcase to the world major changes taking place here in Japan, in particular, public and private sector's efforts to tackle social challenges and achieve sustainable growth. Solving social and environmental challenges, such as climate change and generating sustainable growth, require unlocking fundamental strengths of finance. Japan has more than 2,100 trillion yen in household financial assets, most of which are currently owned as savings. I am pushing forward a policy package to channel these huge assets from savings into investments, which I believe will contribute to sustainable growth not only in Japan, but also on a global scale. In addition to climate change, Japan faces a multitude of social issues, including population aging and also severe natural disasters. However, I would like to emphasize that these diverse social challenges can be at the same time the potential for growth. As the Japanese have long said, a disaster could better be turned into an advantage. Aging population is a challenge many countries face now or in the future. Effective response to natural disasters is increasingly urgent globally due to the evidently more severe impacts of climate change. Japan, as one of the frontrunners facing various challenges, we're committed to actively sharing our experiences and outcomes with the global community to tackle the world's challenges. The key is the power of science and technology in enterprises. One startup founded by young Japanese researchers who learned information and communication engineering in the University of Tokyo, for example, has leveraged traditional printing technology for electronic circuit boards and created a product that cuts metal usage by 70%, reduces CO2 emissions by 75%, and lessens water usage by 95%. These groundbreaking new technologies are vital in effectively addressing social challenges. Once these technologies are implemented, they have the potential to aid people worldwide who struggle with similar issues, and at the same time, open up substantial market opportunities. I'd like to outline 4 major Japanese policy priorities that will help solve the world's problems and encourage corporate activities and investments that will achieve sustainable growth. Firstly, investing in what we call green transformation, or GX for short. Changing also investing in green transformation. Changing the industrial and social structure to shift away from fossil fuels to one based on clean energy is a great challenge, but it's also an opportunity and source for growth. In order to raise or toward achieving net zero in 2050, and in order to raise over 150 trillion yen of public and private financing over the next 10 years to achieve that goal, the government of Japan published the GX promotion strategy this July, including the implementation of carbon pricing. So as part of that, first, the Japanese government will issue new government transition bonds named Climate Transition Bonds this fiscal year. These bonds will be the world's first government-issued transition bonds and will be aligned with global standards. So we'll be investing in innovation for renewable energy expansions and also new energy like hydrogen, and also facilities in steel, chemical, and auto industries. So with this, we intend to catalyze private investment with a clear strategy and innovativeness. We will be investing in research and development and implementation. It will be an advanced or upfront investment of 20 trillion yen by the government. Technologies developed by Japanese businesses will contribute to global emissions reductions, and we shall lead the global rulemaking for visualizing avoided emissions. And with the introduction of the climate transition bonds, we will pave the way for further promoting transition finance. Transition finance, which leads the whole of economy transition towards decarbonization, is crucial for transforming the world, and its importance was highlighted at the G7 Hiroshima summit this past May. Furthermore, we aim to develop GX-related investment products that will appeal to a broad spectrum of investors, from Japanese retail investors who can use the expanded and permanent NISA, the tax exemption scheme for small investments, to global investors. I believe this will contribute to realizing a world where both global investors and investee companies, including those from developing countries, actively participate in green transformation. From this viewpoint, let me announce that the Financial Services Agency of Japan will, within this year, establish a dialogue on enhancing sustainability investment products as an initiative for fostering GX and ESG investment by both individual and institutional investors. Moreover, Japan shall contribute to achieving global net zero in cooperation with peer Asian countries. In order to encourage specific implementation cases of transition finance that fit and leverage the strengths and attributes of each country, Japan will launch an Asia GX Consortium in collaboration with the GFANZ Japan chapter by the middle of next year. This consortium will drive GX investment in Asia, involving the public and private sectors.
A second policy priority is to support startups dedicated to addressing societal challenges. Startups, I believe, act as catalysts, turning social issues into levers of growth. Now iconic manufacturing companies that bolster Japan's technology all started as startups founded by young professionals in their 20s and 30s after the World War II. our government has assembled Startup Development 5-year Plan, positioning 2022 as the inaugural year for fostering startups that aim to contribute to resolving global challenges and spearhead growth both in Japan and worldwide. Our aim is to amplify investments tenfold, reaching 10 trillion yen or $70 billion within 5 years. An essential driver of promoting such investment is impact investment. This investment focuses impact on addressing social and environmental challenges and fosters specific technologies and business model innovations that contribute to tackling the challenges. So the commitment of investors to drive transformation is essential. The JFSA has been crafting basic guidelines on impact investment and is on track to establishing consortium by year-end with public and private stakeholders in cooperation. Japan is keen to lead fundraising that enables social changes. In fact, we have seen a number of emerging and promising impact startups across various issues, both in Japan and abroad, including decarbonization, water resources, and healthcare. I aspire to further bolster this trend by creating an environment-friendly environment and collaborating with global stakeholders so as to develop impact investment into an established approach and market. The Impact Consortium set to launch this year is open to the world, and I wish to invite participation by global investors and stakeholders like yourselves. With respect to healthcare, for instance, we have initiated the Impact Investment Initiative for Global Health, which was endorsed by the G7 Hiroshima Summit. This initiative was launched on the occasion of the recent UN high-level meetings, collaboratively with developing partners and private sectors. We are committed to addressing the needs of the Global South. Third priority centers on enhancing human capital. This involves human resource development, including reskilling, significant budget expansions to support all children and all households with children, and a concerted effort to promote women. Enhancing human capital is a top priority not only for Japan but also for the world. Expanding investment in human capital is indispensable in increasing corporate value in the mid to long term, and dialogue between companies and investors is fundamental. To this end, listed companies in Japan have been required to disclose their human capital related information since the fiscal year ended March 2023. Furthermore, we are committed to contributing to the work on the development of international disclosure standards, such as those on human capital, in order to meet investors' interests in information about investment in human capital. Finally, strengthening the function of finance that encourages sustainability outcomes. Japan has more than 2,100 trillion yen or $14 trillion in household financial assets, of which about 530 trillion yen or $3.6 trillion is largely managed by asset managers and asset owners as insurance and pension. In addition, the GPIF, which manages public pensions, has one of the largest assets in the world at about 220 trillion yen or $1.5 trillion. To achieve a sustainable society, it is vital to increase investments targeting companies that address societal challenges while encouraging others to follow suit. This is extremely critical. To realize this vision, strengthening the ability of asset managers and asset owners is key because they are in charge of managing the long-term funds of individual end investors. To this end, I will design a new plan by year-end to realize asset management businesses. This policy plan will be aimed at further sophistication of asset management, improvement in the governance of asset managers and owners, soliciting new entrants, and promoting competition. Addressing societal challenges through investment would encourage companies to drive change, enhance sustainability of our economies and societies, as well as harness growth potential of our world. And this would, in turn, provide long-term financial opportunities to both investors and the beneficiaries who entrust their funds to the investors. This approach of responsible investment is something that will precisely embody elements of what is generally called fiduciary duty. In this regard, including numbers of signatories to the PRI is highly meaningful as a strong driver of responsible investment. The initiative enables asset managers and owners to engage in dialogues with companies and promote growth and sustainability outcomes. In Japan, although many financial institutions, including GPIF, have already embraced PRI, I would expect furthermore to come to join the movement. In order to accelerate this trend, I hereby announce that, as the government, we will proceed with necessary background work and that 7 representative public pension funds worth of 90 trillion yen or $600 billion in assets under management will start preparations for newly becoming signatories to the Principle for Responsible Investments. Our objective is that public pension funds reinforces their work on sustainable finance and to spread the movement to the whole financial market. Collaborative efforts by businesses and finances to unleash their immense potential to create substantial impacts, reshape society, and foster sustainable and solid growth. This idea exactly aligns with the principles of the new form of capitalism, which I keenly advocate. Supporting and investing in innovation, encompassing transition finance, and impact investing are no longer mere philosophies. They are already at a crucial implementation phase. And these endeavors drive both problem-solving and growth. The government of Japan is committed to translating these intentions into actions in collaboration with you, global investors. Thank you for your kind attention.